Hey, Mr. Loggery here. In this video, we're going to talk about negative exponents. Any number with a negative exponent becomes a fraction or a decimal. I'll show you what that means. Normally, when we have exponents like x to the second, we get x times x. Sorry, that should be a times. When you have x to the negative 2, what that is, you have 1 over x times 1 over x, which then gives you 1 over x squared. So you move it to the bottom of a fraction. It's a fraction, okay? I'll show you the rules for it. So when we have 5 to the negative 3, that's really 1 over 5 to the third power, which is 1 over 125. So it's just fractions that are multiplying and getting smaller instead of whole numbers that are multiplying and getting smaller. So when you have x to the negative 4, you move it to the bottom of the fraction and make it a positive number, okay? A negative exponent does not make the number negative, okay? It's just doing a fraction instead of a whole number. Let's look at some examples. Negative exponents, here's the steps, okay? Identify the negative exponents, the terms with those. Take those terms and you either move them to the bottom or the top. You're going to move them to the opposite side of where they are on the fraction. It's going to go up or down. And then you take away the negative, or you just make them positive. I'll show you what that looks like, okay? If we have 3 to the negative 4, that is just 1 over 3 to the 4. You see how this is normally over 1. You can write it like that. We moved it to the bottom and made it positive. And then that becomes 1 over 81, I think. 3 times 3 times 27 times 3. Yeah, 81. Same thing. 8 to the negative 2 power is 1 over 8 squared. So it's 1 over 64. So instead of 8 times 8, which gives you 64, that's 8 squared. 8 to the negative 2 gives you 1 over 64. You do it the same way with variables. You just move it to the bottom of the fraction, okay? Just like that. Let's look at some more examples. Okay, same thing here, except we don't need a 1, because if we have x squared y to the negative 2, we're going to take this and we're just going to move it underneath on a fraction. So we're going to have x squared stays on top, and now we move it to the bottom and make it positive, just like that. Right here, they're both negative, so we do need a 1 on top, and then it's a squared b to the 5, the fifth power. Pause the video, see if you can do these last two, and then I'll check them, okay? Or you can check them while I do it. Okay. N to the 4 stays right where it's at. If it's positive, you leave it alone. If there's a negative, you bring it down here. This one, z to the 9, stays on top. The negatives come down. x3, y7, just like that. Okay, pause the video, see if you can do these, and then I'll work them and you can check your work. X to the 3rd stays on top, y to the 5th goes on bottom. It goes down the bottom and becomes a positive. This one, we've got c squared on top, 4a on bottom, because it becomes a 1, which goes away, and b to the 3, because those are our two negative. Oh, wait. Hang on. I made a boo-boo. That 1 only affects this a. So the 4 and the c squared stay on top. The a comes down and the b. Glad I caught that. See? Everyone makes mistakes. It's easy. The 4 stays on top. That's a 4 to the 1st power. It's a positive 1. It stays up there. The c to the 2 stays up. Make sure I didn't mess up any of these. Okay. Over here, these are a little bit trickier, okay? Because we're multiplying exponents and we have negatives. So what you do on here, the 2 and the 5 are going to be on top. And when you multiply exponents, the coefficients in the front, you just multiply them together. So this is a 10, and it's going to stay on top. 2 times 5 is 10. Then we have a to the negative 1 becomes a to the 1, and a to the 4th down here. And then we can simplify that. So this is all 10 over a to the 5th because you add them together when you're multiplying. Okay, let's look at this next one. Let's just move that 3. No, we're going to multiply all our coefficients together, and they will stay on top. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 7 is positive 42. Any positive exponents stay on top. So this is x cubed and x to the 5th. And the only thing that comes on bottom is x squared. So when we add these together over here, we get 42x to the 8 because we add the 3 and the 5, and we still have an x squared. Then if you know how to divide, we cancel 2 of these because we subtract. So the whole thing is 42x to the 6th. So go slow. Only move the negatives down below. Okay? Now let's look at what happens when we have a negative exponent on the bottom of a fraction, okay? You do the exact same thing, only you move it to the top. So this is just 3x to the 5th. We move the whole thing up and make it positive. This one, x to the 4th. This one, we're going to have 2x squared, and then the z and the y both have negatives. They're just going to switch places. So the y to the 3rd comes up top. The z goes on bottom. It's z to the 1, which just becomes z. Okay.